The family runs a dairy herd as well, and they're wonderfully gracious people. We've been in their house, we've sat around their table eating dinner, and so that's a great thing to be able to go someplace like that and actually be welcome into their homes and celebrate meals together, and not only the meal but also the coffee. But we're also excited about just the way in which they're doing coffee. And the reality is that they're doing some pretty unique and groundbreaking things in the world of specialty coffee. 2 years ago, the family decided that they wanted to auction off all of their geisha on an online auction. Typically with Cup of Excellence or Best of Panama, the coffees are ranked, and then we participate in an online auction. It's international. Companies from all over the world log on, and there's a bidding process that happens during a fixed period of time. And the reality was, I think it was 3 years ago, the Esmeralda won the Best of Panama, and that was the first time that anything online sold for as much as it did. I remember bidding online to buy some coffee at the auction, and all of a sudden the site that was hosting the online auction crashed, and it was because the bidding got up to over $100 a pound for green coffee, and the system just didn't know what to do with that, and the entire system crashed. We didn't know what was going on. There was all this kerfuffle. And we ended up finding out after the fact. I think the coffee sold for something like $130 a pound green. It was the most expensive coffee in the world at the time, rightly so. And they continued on after that. And last year they started for their own farm doing an online auction, which was very successful. And this year they continued with that, and they did another online auction. And their coffee actually was so expensive this year that we didn't even buy any. On one level, it makes it an interesting test case for coffee, because we have a coffee that's developed worldwide reputation and worldwide sort of cachet, and there's the way that's sold now. This online auction seems, on one hand, maybe a bit pretentious, but on the other hand, it's an interesting way to provide access to a coffee, an amazing coffee, where everybody has sort of an equal chance to get some of that coffee. And the only thing that prevents you from getting the coffee is how much you're willing to pay. Whereas other high-end coffees can sometimes get sort of locked into a certain roaster's repertoire, and only they get that coffee. So on one level, I really want to celebrate the Petersons' innovation in the world of specialty coffee. Not everyone's going down the road. Not everyone agrees with it. A lot of my colleagues aren't as fascinated or excited about Hacienda La Esmeralda and the coffee they grow as I am. But I think what they're doing is unique on many fronts. The two main important ones are the way they do what they do, the quality that they produce, and their willingness to take some risks. And I think all of those things combine to create a coffee that should be celebrated for what it really is, one of the best coffees currently available on the planet. This is the Esmeralda. Just brewed it. I like to, when I'm tasting coffee, when we do coffee tastings at the shop, I like to serve it in a sort of a stemless wine glass. Number one, it concentrates the aromas right in the nose, or so I can smell them more. It also gives me an opportunity to sort of cool it down. Coffee is too hot when it comes right out of the clover. It's just too hot to drink, and you can't really taste it. I always say to people, too hot or too cold mutes the flavors. That's why we drink Molson Canadian really cold in Canada, because we really don't want to taste it. Anyways, this coffee at its peak, in its freshness, when it's perfect, is just amazing in terms of its aromatics. Grapefruit, jasmine, nectarines. People talk about blueberry, peaches. It's just so aromatic. And when you walk through the coffee plantation, like I did last year in April, when the coffee was in bloom, which is an amazing thing. It's almost, I don't know, it's almost undescribable, but it's overwhelming and amazing in its aromas. It's almost intoxicating how it smells. What's amazing to me is that when the Esmeralda is fresh and brewed right, the smell of the flowers is in the cup. So you get that jasmine flavor and aroma in the cup of coffee. So that's really why I'm so excited about this coffee, is just because it's so unique, it's so flavorful, it's so aromatic, the taste is great. Even at a year old, it's still great. And we sell this stuff for $5 a cup at Transcend, which is a steal of a deal. on the Clover, 12 ounces. And I'd like to tell people that if you were going to taste a glass of wine, a 12-ounce glass of wine, that was at an equivalent level of quality in the world, you would probably be paying, I don't know, hundreds of dollars for one glass of wine. So coffee, to steal the phrase that Mark Inman coined, is the foodie deal of the century. If you want great quality coffee in your cup, in your mouth, it's still so affordable. So that's the end of our session for today. I know it went on a little bit longer than the last one, and some will go on longer, some will be a little shorter. But we always keep working at trying to talk to you about stuff that we hope you might find interesting and educational. So until next time, I'm Poul Mark. Again, if you need to get a hold of us, check us out on the web, www.transcendcoffee.com. Have a great day.